Welcome to part 2 of lecture 2.5, adding and subtracting fractions. So if we have a whole number, let's say 3 minus 5 over 6, we can just remember that it has a 1 in the denominator. And then from there, I have to find the LCD. Well, 1 times 6 will give me 6. So 3 over 1 times 6 over 6 is 18/6. Now I subtract 5/6. So the end result is 13/6. So having a whole number is not that difficult. Just remember it is over 1. And then multiply it by whatever the other denominator is if you have two fractions. Now remember, if you are working with negative numbers, just look at the denominators. They are the same. So this problem of 3/8 plus a negative 1/8 just follows the same addition and subtraction rules of negatives. So they have the same denominator. So now I'm just going to take the difference and give the sign of the larger. So it equals 3 minus 1 over 8. Which is 2 over 8. So the larger sign is the positive. And now I can reduce down to 1/4. So not too bad. Just remember your addition and subtraction rules of negative numbers. So I have 3 fractions, 1/10 plus a negative 4/5 plus a negative 3/20. They do not have the same denominator, so I do need to find the LCD. Off to the side, 10 is going to equal 2 times 5. 5 is just 5. And 20 is 2 times 2 times 5. Now it looks like they have a 5 in common, they have a 2 in common, and then they have a 2 that's not in common. So I still need to use it. So LCD equals 2 times 2 times 5, which is 20. And that makes sense because 5 goes into 20, 10 goes into 20, and 20 of course goes into 20. Now I can rewrite all of my fractions using 20 as the denominator. So 1 over 10 will equal 1 times 2 over 20, 2 over 20. Negative 4/5 will equal 5 times 4 will give me 20. So negative 4 times 4 is a negative 16 over 20. And lastly, negative 3 over 20, well, that's just negative 3 over 20. Now I'm left with, they all have the same denominator. So I'm actually going to write them over a long fraction. 2 plus negative 16 plus negative 3. Okay. 2 plus a negative 16 is, I take the difference, which is 14, give the sign of the larger, negative 14, plus a negative 3. They share the same sign, so I add the two, negative 14 plus a negative 3 over 20. Final result, negative 17 over 20. So let's find the difference of negative 3/5 and 2/5. So taking the difference is subtracting, so it's negative 3/5 minus 2/5. But that is the same as adding a negative 2/5. Adding negative numbers, we're just going to add them. They have the same sign. Negative 5 over 5. But negative 5 over 5, 5 goes into 5 one time each. So the answer is negative 1. So let's recall that comparing fractions, we can compare fractions as long as they have the same denominator, or at least it's easier if we have the same denominator. We can use our LCD to compare fractions. So we're going to find our LCD and then compare. For example, 5/8, 5/16, 3/4, and 1/2. So when I break it down, 8 is 2 times 4, which is 2 times 2 times 2. 16 is 2 times 8, which is 2 times 2 times 4, which is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 4 is 2 times 2, and 2 is 2. So what do they have in common? And I just wrote them off nice and neat off to the side here. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. They have a 2 in common. They have a 2 in common. They have a 2 in common. And then finally, 16 has this last 2. So it turns out that the LCD is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 16. So we're going to rewrite each of our fractions with the denominator of 16. So 5/8 equals, well, 8 times 2 will get us 16. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 5 times 2 is 10. 5/16, it already has the 16 on the bottom, so I'm just going to rewrite it. 3/4. 4 times 4 will give me 16, so 3 times 4 is 12. 1/2, well, 2 times 8 will get me 16, so 1 times 8 is 8. So when I look at it, 5 is the smallest numerator. They all have 16 in common, so remember, I just have to look at numerators at this point. 5, so 5/16 is the smallest. Then 8/16, which is 1/2, is next. 10/16, which is 5/8, is now a little bit larger. And finally, 12/16, which is 3/4, is the largest number in this group. So that is it for this video. I do suggest that you practice finding your LCD, rewriting your fractions with the LCD that you found, and then adding and subtracting whether problems so you can get a lot of so you can get some practice. So if my language skills hold out, until next time, be seeing you.